Imagine you wake up one morning, have breakfast, go to sit down at your desk, and you're faced with this. Microsoft Teams' new demonic emojis. Well, that's what happened in July, but fortunately I've got some more sobering new Teams features to share with you this month, including the new Polls app from Microsoft, the ability to remove calls from your call history, LinkedIn integration, and much more. Russell here, editorial director of Petri.com in this life and IT consultant in a previous one. So in July, Microsoft decided to replace the Forms app with a new app called Polls. Now Microsoft says this is designed to make it easier for people to find polls and add them to their chats and meetings. There are also some UI improvements in the poll suggestions pane, like the ability to reposition the list of suggested polls and provide a polls results view. So if you want to check out the new Polls app, all you have to do is go to the store in Microsoft Teams, search for Polls and install it. And then you can add polls to your meetings, to your chats and to your Teams channels. I wasn't able to test out the poll suggestion pane. For whatever reason, I couldn't get it to appear in chat or in a meeting or in a Teams channel, but maybe it appears automatically when you've got enough polls running. If you know the answer to that, then please let me know in the comments below. Another new feature this month is the ability to remove calls from your call history. Now, I'm not sure what the big deal with this one is really. Maybe some people need to remove calls. Maybe they don't want to accidentally show colleagues that they've been speaking to a particular person. Maybe there are some other reasons you might want to remove a call from your call history. All you need to do is go into the Calls application on the left hand side of Teams, and then you see the list of calls in the main window, and you click the three ellipses, and all you need to do is click remove call from view and it disappears from the list. Something that I hadn't noticed, to be honest, is that by default now if you go into a chat there's a new tab called LinkedIn, and this basically will show you the LinkedIn profile of the person that you're chatting to. Now I found it a little bit hit and miss because it's not able to directly necessarily match the person, so what it does is do a search. So hopefully it will show you in the list of search results the right person. If I go to chat to self, LinkedIn had a bit of trouble finding me, maybe because my surname is quite common, of course. I didn't think there were so many Russell Smiths in the world, but anyway, I think this is a great feature for people who need to do a lot of networking and quickly find out relevant information about the people that they're speaking to. Now, to be honest, I don't know a lot about Teams rooms and all the hardware ecosystem that surrounds Teams, but one interesting thing that was announced for July is that there's now support for SpectraLink decked phones. Now, you may be thinking, what on earth is a decked phone? Well, back in the olden days, I suppose 30 years ago, when wireless phones first started to appear, they were just called decked phones. You didn't call them wireless phones. And DECT stands for Digital Enhanced Cordless Telecommunication. Now you may be thinking, well, who's still using these things? Now surely we're just using Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi enabled devices. Well, it turns out that DECT phones are still used in particular situations, partly because the wireless communication part of this standard is designed specifically for audio, so it can work better in particular environments, maybe in factories where you have a lot of walls, that would maybe make setting up Wi-Fi quite difficult. And DECT just offers a cheaper solution in these scenarios compared to Wi-Fi. So some companies are still actively using DECT. So Teams is adding SpectraLink DECT support to the SIP gateway, and in order to use it, it comes as a firmware update to your SpectraLink DECT server. And this new feature in Teams supports current IP DECT SpectraLink phones and IP-based base stations. And before I leave the subject of DECT phones, there are other reasons to use DECT phones because they're very rugged, they're dust-proof, some of them have motion sensors built into them for people that are working in specific situations alone. So if you thought DECT phones were dead and buried, no, they're still very much alive. Last but not least is the new emojis that appeared in Teams in July. Now I feel a bit bad talking about this because I've banned our news editor Rabia from talking about emojis in her news posts because I know that she loves them so much, but I thought this might get your attention. So we actually discussed this with Rabia when they appeared, and I didn't really pay much attention to them until I looked at the blog post from Microsoft detailing some of the new features, and I don't think they'd really mentioned the new emojis, but people started mentioning them in the comments and they seem to be very unhappy with these new emojis. So they're a bit more three-dimensional, but they do kind of stand out, have a little bit of a weird colour thing going on. I mean, I don't think they're that bad, but they are a bit freaky actually now I come to think about about it when you look at them more carefully. So, you know, they're there. Not everybody seems to like them. I don't think that Microsoft is necessarily going to roll them back. Maybe there'll be another evolution of the design if enough people say that they really hate them, of course. But anyway, let me know what you think about the new emojis in Teams in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. So if you found this video valuable, then please give it a like. It really helps to get it seen by more people on YouTube, and I'd really appreciate that. And if you'd like to see more of these weekly news roundups, then please do subscribe to the channel. But before you go, I'm going to put 2 videos on the screen right now that I think you might find useful, so please check them out, and I'll see you next week.